Hello and welcome back to the Footballing Question podcast. This week I'm only joined by Isaac. Jordan is absent from today's episode, unfortunately, which means we have full reign to record an Arsenal episode. We are both Arsenal fans. We are on one of the biggest highs we're going to be for this season until Arteta lifts the Premier League trophy. Oh. But right now we've just beaten Manchester United 3-2 last night. Isaac, what are your just initial reactions waking up this morning after that game?
First of all, it's a bit suspicious that this is the 1 week Jordan misses out. I
know.
Okay. As much as I wanted to make that joke, I'll be honest, I had that joke planned as soon as I knew he was missing this week, but obviously he's not here. He's in Milton Keynes. He couldn't really get back on time, which is fair. But, as a result, we're going to go absolutely ham on this game. And I'm sorry, that game last night, it is... When I watched that and when that full-time whistle blew, I think that felt like the most important win in our club's history since 2004, since we last won the league title.
I'm trying to think of another game, potentially the semi-final in 06 for the Champions League.
Yeah, but that...
not the FA Cups. They don't come close.
No.
Yesterday was just a statement to say that we are still fighting and giving everything to this title race. And the pressure was on. Manchester City, from out of nowhere, closed that 8-point gap down to 2 because of games in hand. They'd just beaten Wolves 3-0. Realistically, if we lost that game or drew, it's just not as dominating.
Yeah,
it's not as comfortable.
Even though you have the game in hand, mentally, when you look at the table and you see it's a 2-point gap, it's not nice.
No, because last season when we were going to top 4, we had those games in hand. We were like, easy, we're blasting into this, no problem at all, and we bottled it. So we really need that cushion desperately if we actually want to win this title. And it's mental to even be talking about the fact that we're potentially winning a title or fighting for this title, but it is just unreal. Let's get into the game. Obviously, Rashford scores that opener.
Yeah.
A moment of individual brilliance, to be fair. He completely catches Gabriel off. Weghorst catches Gabriel off guard, leaving Rashford with the space once he's dashed past Partey, and Ramsdale cannot get to that corner quick enough. I don't think it was Ramsdale's fault. I think it was just
I think it's a terrific strike. I think one thing I will say is if you look at it like 10 seconds back, we're in a position where I'm usually confident of Arsenal. We've given it to Saka. Saka gives it to Partey, and Partey just makes a rash pass.
There's 2 errors,
and it's intercepted by Rashford, and then he has the opportunity to tackle Rashford. Rashford gets to him. It was poor from Thomas Partey. In the build-up to this game, people were talking about the fact that they were missing Casemiro, and we still had Partey in. And funnily enough, that didn't actually make a difference because I thought this was probably Partey's one of his poorest performances this season. He was, missing a lot in that first half. I think so was Ben White, which is why he got subbed off at half time. I thought we were really struggling against Rashford in that first half. Yeah. And it's just a moment of brilliance from him. He's on top form, and I'm not going to have a go at Ramsdale really. Most keepers, will concede that. I think De Gea concedes that, as we'll go on to talk to later in the game.
Well, of course, and I thought De Gea at times, for Manchester United's most senior player, he had some quite embarrassing moments the way he acted at times. Yeah. There was a challenge, what was it? It was Nketiah.
It was Nketiah touching his arm, and the replays don't really show him off in too great style.
Absolutely not. But coming back to Rashford, he's now 9 goals. He played really well last night, and he could have scored some more if it wasn't for Ramsdale's brilliance. An argument I want to get into though, and an argument that we heard from obviously one of our co-hosts, Jordan, was that it was actually quite a fair game. And by the scoreline, you would assume, 3-2 to Arsenal. Okay, Man United gave us a good game, and they did give us a good game. Yeah. On the scoreline, it was tense. We pulled it back until the 90th minute. It was getting close, and then Nketiah got that final winner. 2 goals from him last night. But for me, from my standpoint, Arsenal dominated that game. Yeah. And as the stats also outline, what did you make of that?
I think until Arsenal equalised in the first half, I thought United had the better of us. I thought that we were found wanting in the midfield a bit. They were finding space. They were going for it a bit more. And with that Rashford goal, you could see, they were trying to take the lead. And it felt like as soon as we pegged them back to 1-1, you didn't think United were going to get this next goal. No. It looked like we were going to get the second goal, and we did. And I've got here the Premier League post-air attacking threat chart, which shows like waves of attack and how likely and how close they go to scoring statistically. And genuinely, it's the most one-sided thing I'll ever see in my life. And you look at Arsenal's ones, and 2 of them, our first and our third goal, come at peak waves because they were moves which are close to the goal. Our second one isn't anywhere close to it 'cause it's a long shot. Both of theirs are like, you can see the goal and then there's just no wave because it's just a long shot. And a very fortunate header for Lisandro Martinez. And overall, we were playing in behind the lines, we were getting the ball in dangerous areas over and over and over again. And when you think about the way United were building their attack, we were dealing with it more often than not. You know, I'm not going to criticise the centre-backs too much on the Rashford goal. I think on the Lisandro Martinez goal, first of all, it's a mistake from Ramsdale, maybe a miscommunication between him and Tomiyasu. And, you know, it's unfortunate from Gabriel on the line not to clear it.
Yes.
But it's a moment of, do you know what, in that split second, we could have done a little bit better.
Yeah.
And we've it's a gift. And it's fair to United, they've taken that. But when you then, they've had, I think it's 6 shots overall in the game, and they've had 4 on target. We had, 25, 26?
It was 20. Here are the stats, just as, you know, to summarise, basically the nutshell of, basically, Arsenal did what they have been doing all season against United. Constant attacks and the same ideas, overloading it down that wings and getting the balls into the box, cutting it back. We did that superbly last night, as we have done all season. It was 58% possession to Arsenal compared to Man United's 42. We had 25 shots, they had 6. We had 5 on target, fair enough, but I mean, they had 4 on target, but that dominance in shots just outlines everything. We had 520 passes, they had 396. The game was ours completely, and the fact that Man United are looking at that and going, God, you know, we were close. We could contest for this league. Because the talk before the game was the fact that Arsenal really need to put on a statement against Manchester United. They beat us earlier on in the season. They're only side to beat us this season. And they are chasing Man City.
Yeah, they are.
They are chasing for the title. I think longevity will prove different in the fact that they won't be in that top 2 come the end of the season. But it was weird to see, and it's strange, right? Because Alex Ferguson used to say to his players when Man United were dominant all those years, you know, we'd get a chance, just keep going, just keep playing and carry on. And that was Arsenal last night.
Yeah.
Not Man United whatsoever.
I mean, I've milked this win so much. I stayed up so late last night watching as many Man United fan reactions as I could. I need, like, Adam McCullough's tears. I've sucked them in and absoubed them.
Was he crying?
Oh no, but he was complaining. He went through the 5 stages of grief during the VAR check. It was amazing. You know, just seeing them talk about the game and say, do you know, it was a fair battle. I'm like, yeah, they fought hard, but you can see the mentality difference between the two sides. And it's not an overall criticism of Man United, because you look at they've only just got their new manager at the start of the season. To have got to this point where they are probably comfortably going to finish in the top 4, and it's January, be happy with that. Do you know what? No one expected you to be where you are. Accept it. Do you know what? It's the same with us. You know what I mean? If we finish second, it's not the end of the world, but we are doing so well, we kind of have to. It's a little bit different, but you know, they weren't expected to be in the title race. It was a nice week, their title charge. It was nice while it lasted. They did us a favour and beat United, and then dropped points at Selhurst, which was good. And you know, you can just see when they scored that equaliser at 2-2. You know, that's a really lucky goal. You think our heads will go down because suddenly we have to go again after Saka scoring his fantastic goal. But then after that, what happens? United go, right, we've got, 15 minutes to go, 20 minutes to go? Let's hold out. You know, they didn't really have any recognisable attacks after that. And we just kept bombing forward. I mean, Saka had almost the exact same goal all over again, hitting the post. You know, Nketiah has his amazing chance from a free kick. And then we eventually get our winner. And I'm going to be honest, I've never celebrated a goal less when it hit the net, because I was so utterly convinced it wasn't onside.
I went mental, but there was 2 shouts for offside in that final win for Arsenal.
I didn't know Zinchenko was a shout for offside, but when it happened, I thought Nketiah was. And I saw the replay and thought, oh, I thought Zinchenko was off when I first saw the replay, and then I thought Nketiah was off when I first saw the replay. And the thing that made it annoying is usually they bring the lines out on the replay. For this time, it happened so quickly, we didn't see the lines of the replay, but the commentators did. So I heard Neville saying, it's a goal, and I was like, how does he know? Like, I don't know. And obviously, but then the second the referee pointed to, you know, the middle of the pitch, I don't think I've screamed louder. I don't think I've lost. I've got a video of it. I'm not going to show it here. I say some bad things.
We might. Isaac might have reconsidered that.
No. I say some. There are many expletives, and I call out Jordan, but which is really uncalled for. He did nothing wrong other than support his side. But that game just felt. I mean, people talked about the rivalry building up. You know, Arsenal Man United hasn't been the rivalry it's been. for say 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
And suddenly it's feeling a bit more intense. It's a bit more fiery now. That is one of the all-time best games between our two sides. You know, neck and neck, 2-2.
Neck and neck in terms of the scoreline.
Neck and neck in terms of the scoreline, 3-2. I mean, they did play well, but they didn't dominate because they didn't attack as much. We, I think, dominated. We set the tempo throughout the majority of the game, and as a result, earned the win. You know, we deserved the win overall.
And let's not take that away from Manchester United.
No,
they have attacking threat, and they showed that through Rashford's goal. And they
just didn't go for it towards the latter stages. No. In the second half, it very much seemed like they'd try and hit us on the counter, which I think is really poor from them because they've got good players.
They've got good players, and their speciality is the counter-attack, to be fair.
Yeah.
So we can't really hinder them or take anything away from them from trying to exploit that, but it was the fact that they did sit back for a lot of it, and they let Arsenal go at them. And when teams let Arsenal go at them, that is when you're going to struggle, because that's what we've been so good at this season. Just to come on to a point you mentioned earlier as well, you know, Arsenal, we were a goal behind to start with Man United then equalised. It was looking like in previous seasons under previous managers, we would have held out for that draw at 2-2.
Yeah.
We just would have gone for it and said, you know what, it's a good result against a strong side. But Arsenal are different these days. If we were a goal behind in any other year against Manchester United, I would say 60%, 70% of the time, we aren't winning that game, 100%. But we do, and we come back, and Eddie Nketiah, we get onto him, but what a game he had, and that header just looked so convincing. It just looked like he's the man to help Arsenal win this title. And the fact that we had that fight to just go on and win that game just shows the impact that Arteta has had on this club. And you know what is so nice to see, despite the fact that we actually can't get tickets anymore because the Emirates is so sold out despite us going to watch them for the last 5 years, it's the fact that the Emirates is full and you don't ever have that guilt of looking at it and going, Jesus Christ, we can't even fill our stadium. The Emirates is full every single game. Even if in a Carabao Cup game against Brighton, we went to see Europa League matches as well that mean nothing. The Emirates is packed out every single time. Before we get on to Eddie Nketiah, can we talk about Gary Neville? Because I was listening to Gary Neville, right? And I don't have anything against Gary Neville. I think he's great at what he does, and you know he's very successful in the many industries that he's a part of. But his commentary last night, don't think I've heard something more biased in my life, and maybe not biased, but also just aggravating. I just couldn't get over it. There was a moment where Rashford outstrengthed, I think, one of the Arsenal players when Man United were on the attack, and he just went, he's been hitting the weights. Like, it was trying to build up the attack, then Arsenal just got the ball and cleared it. But it was the way he was just talking about Arsenal, it was just strange. And then every time Rashford got on the ball, he was going mental. I don't know what you thought about him.
I've had my criticisms of Gary Neville. I remember last season, he, no matter how well we were doing, he would always say, we're not getting top four, we're not getting top four, we're not getting top four.
Well, he
never gave us our plaudits. Yes, we didn't get top four, but I think the fact that he never gave us our plaudits is just a bit questionable from his position, it never really happened, especially considering at the start of that season, they did a whole section on Monday Night Football, basically just to explain how bad a signing Ben White was, and then he ended up being probably the signing of the season, and is now probably England's best defender, and probably a better defender than Gary Neville was in his prime, so have that. As well, last week, after beating Tottenham, he was there to watch it at this ground. He, on the Gary Neville podcast, said, Arsenal aren't getting a title. In fact, United will get finished second. And last week he said United were in a title race, and 1 week later, you're not in a title race.
Did he actually say that after the Tottenham game?
He said City first, United second, Arsenal third.
Unreal.
Absolutely.
He said after United.
Arsenal are now 11 points clear of Man United with a game in hand. People mention this a lot. We haven't played City yet. Joe, there's one team which we haven't played yet, Everton, both home and away. And I'd argue that goes hand in hand with Man City. It's the opposite. However, our next game is in the league is Everton away, and it very much looks like they'll probably change manager before then. So maybe a Sean Dyche manager bounce is going to be our kryptonite going in for the rest of the season. But Gary Neville, I just find him a bit infuriating because it very much feels like because he played during that rivalry and during the heat of the tension, every time he talks about Arsenal, all he can think about is Thierry Henry and Mark Overmars nutmegging him, and he can't, give us our credit.
He said last night after the game, he's sure that Arsenal still won't win the title, and it's fair enough. We are only halfway through the season.
To say you're sure, like, I don't know. I mean, people keep saying it, Arsenal will slip up eventually. People have been saying that for 3 months. People have been saying City will find their run for 3 months. When you look at the two sides and the way we've played, we've dropped points 3 times. Only one of those times we've dropped points, you'd say it's to a team we definitely should have beaten on the day. Newcastle, we probably will, I think I'm reflecting on it as a good point. Even though we probably should have won, it's a respectable point.
Well, yeah, because if we draw against Newcastle, is it the same as drawing against United? And we didn't want to draw against United.
No. Drawing against United was much more important because I think despite how good Newcastle have been, I think United have a chance, if they get momentum, to push more. Yeah. Newcastle have drawn way too many games. But Southampton we drew to, that was disappointing. But beyond that, we've beaten everyone in front of us who we should be beating, pretty much. City losing at home to Brentford, drawing at home to Everton. They're dropping a lot of points at home, which we aren't. And losing away at Liverpool. The one thing that's changed from us is not only are we beating all the teams in front of us, we're winning the Big Six games. We've won. We've played 6 games against the rest of the Big Six. Won 5, lost 1.
Jesus.
And 2 of those are away from home. No, 3 of those are away from home. 1 loss away from home, 2 wins, and then every home game against the Big Six we've played so far, we've won.
Which is unthinkable in terms of Arsenal over the last 6-7 years. That is what we've struggled against, and it was always embarrassing going away to Chelsea, to City, to United. Maybe not United, we won there. I think it was once or twice.
We were both bad at the time.
Both bad, but as I said, we just never had that about ourselves. And now I really think if we go to the Etihad, we can actually win. And I know it's a long shot, and I know Man City are incredible, but this is our best chance we've ever had. Now, on to Eddie Nketiah.
Yeah.
2 goals from the Englishman last night. It was almost an all-Englishman scoring match. Rashford, Eddie Nketiah and Bukayo Saka nearly, but Martinez got on the scoreline.
Oh God, he did. What am I thinking? I forgot he scored.
It was such an irrelevant goal out of nowhere. We forgot about it.
Yeah, we forgot about it. Yeah.
And by the way, if you're listening, if you think this is too Arsenal biased, okay, just let's have our turn. We're top of the league.
Look,
right? This is important.
We get criticisms that we're turning this into an Arsenal podcast. So the 1 week Jordan's here, we've got to capitalise on it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we are like. The only other times we've focused on Arsenal and done Arsenal episodes is when we've been, losing 3 on the bounce.
Exactly.
And, Ivan Toney's been dunking on us, but now, we did 2 what's going on at Arsenal episodes, which are, we're telling you this episode, what is going on at Arsenal. It's bloody good. It's absolutely amazing.
It's very good. We couldn't quite figure it out last time, but it was all a plan to lead to this moment. Back to Eddie Nketiah now.
Yeah.
Gabriel Jesus obviously gets injured during the World Cup, and you're thinking, Jesus, we've only got Eddie Nketiah up front. But last season, when we only had Lacazette and Eddie Nketiah, it was kind of like, oh no, it just wasn't enough, was it? This season though, Eddie Nketiah has turned into an absolute different kind of player. He's quality, and he isn't just a poacher like he was last night. His hold-up play is excellent.
Yeah.
He holds onto that ball, and he makes sure that when the ball does leave his feet, it's going to another Arsenal player, and he doesn't just. It was Balogun against Brentford. Do you remember last season? At the start of the season, and you look at him and you think, God, he just looks a little bit timid, and he looks like, I am a young striker, and I might get a little bit lucky, but I don't really know what's going on. Eddie Nketiah is the complete opposite of that, and he looks like he just fits Arsenal's system perfectly. If someone said to you 2 years ago, we'd line up with Martinelli, Saka, and Nketiah up top, and we'd be winning the league. Not winning at home to United. You'd think, Jesus, we've got no chance. But
I mean, to be fair, I think a couple of years, I was one of the first people to point out when we had these young players. I remember seeing Saka during lockdown, and I was just looking at the kid, and I was just thinking, this guy is going to be a world beater. And not many people were on my side. I remember, we've gone through the trenches. I remember United fans did a comparison back when he was playing at left back. Who's a better left back, Brandon Williams or Saka? That is just hilarious looking back, because I remember that, and I remember going, guys, other football fans don't know this yet. They don't know that Saka's a right winger. They actually don't know.
No.
They don't know he's a winger. And then we start playing him on the wing, and then suddenly he starts getting these goals.
Suddenly he's scoring from outside the box in the bottom left corner against United.
I was there for Martinez's debut, and I loved him from minute 1 when he was 18. And the thing is, he's only gone on and improved, and he's come back from injuries. He's got more physical. However, he had a poor game yesterday.
Yes, he did. Yes, and I was begging for Trossard to come on.
Yeah,
and we'll get on to Trossard as well, but within that attack, it's the fact that Nketiah is starting up front that that was what would surprise me so much, because Arsenal have lacked a key talisman since Aubameyang left, and you wouldn't back Nketiah initially to be that guy, but he was last night, and he was terrific. Can I just read off some stats really quickly? He's No player has scored more goals for Arsenal in all competitions this season than Eddie Nketiah with 9 goals. He's scored 19 goals across his last 26 starts for Arsenal in all competitions, 13 in his last 13 starts at the Emirates, and he is the second player to score a 90th minute winner against Manchester United in Premier League history for Arsenal, and that has come after who?
Thierry Henry.
Thierry Henry.
First season at Emirates.
In 2007.
Yeah.
What a guy Eddie Nketiah is turning into.
I'll be honest, he's had a lot of trouble with Arsenal fans. I mean, because, you know, he's a young player and he's been on loans and stuff, and he's never really been a consistent player in the team in terms of starting week in, week out. I think there's a lack of faith, and last season he really turned it around for me, because it's the first time we actually gave him a chance and went, you know what, Lacazette's not doing it, you're our starting striker for the rest of the season. And he performed. He absolutely performed. Sure, we bottled it in the Tottenham and Newcastle games, but is that Nketiah's fault? No, I wouldn't say so. And, you know, he's beefed up as of late. He's a much more physical striker. He's winning the ball more. He's hard to get it off. And his hold-up play's massively improved.
Yeah.
And, you know, when Jesus got injured, I was worried, right, that's probably the title push gone. But I'll be honest, I've not missed Jesus at all. And I think he's going to struggle to get back in the team. And he's just been superb. And I was there for his first ever game at the Emirates when he scored with his first touch against Norwich. I was there when he was 18, and to see him get from there to here is insane. He's wearing the number 14. He's scoring week in, week out. He's 1 goal away from Jesus' Premier League output. It's just so amazing, and it's so looking at this Arsenal team and seeing an academy a product up front on the right wing, Smith Rowe on the bench. It's just so lovely, because, you know, to do that and go in a title race against City, who, other than Phil Foden, obviously, most of it is just, you know, purchase and everything, and they've got the power, and they've got, you know, they are just seen as this mighty force. And the way we've been clever and we've got players like this, it's just that pride, and I feel so much pride watching this team week in, week out.
And we're halfway through the season now, Isaac, and I think I've asked you this nearly every week that I've been hosting the podcast so far, but I mean, we're on 50 points, 19 games in, 19 games to go. I mean, it's pretty obvious in the fact that if we do this run of form again, we'll be on 100 points. 100 points is usually enough to win your Premier League title. Do you think that we're going to win it?
I mean, I did the episode 2 weeks ago, Jordan, where we predicted the bottom 3 and the top 6. And me and him had an identical top 6. And in that episode, I did say Arsenal would win the league. And that was before City lost to United. That was before we beat United. That was before we beat Tottenham. Yeah, it was before we beat Tottenham. And now we're here. And it just you can just feel something is happening.
Absolutely.
Like, my heart has said we're winning the title from about October, because your heart always, you know, leans to the hope. But the thing that's changed is now my head's saying it, because we're doing so well. We're not. There's so many hurdles that we're going over that we haven't done before. The scraping wins, the going behind and coming back. I don't think the amount of time we've been behind this season in games in the Premier League, it's not even 90 minutes when you add it all up. That's insane when you think about it. Like,
which, I mean, when you hear that stat, you think, oh God, if Arsenal do go behind, we're going to struggle.
But
because
no,
we haven't been behind that much. But it's because we're so good.
It's because we go behind and we go, no, boys, we're going to play the exact same way.
Yeah.
And within 10 minutes, we would have equalised. And that's what happens. I mean, what is it? Man United is the game we were behind the most, obviously, because we lost that game. But last night, we go behind, and within 5 minutes, we find our equaliser, playing normal stuff. And we've talked on Nketiah, who I think has been so brilliant so far, and I really love him. And I'm not gonna lie, he is a shout to get on the back of my shirt next season. One player I want to touch on is Zinchenko.
Yes,
we need to. Phenomenal. And looking back at our transfer window, you know, we made very good signings. I don't care how many people talk about Jesus. Zinchenko is the best signing Arsenal Football Club has made, probably since, I don't know, Fabregas, Sanchez. Like, it is just, he's a monster. As much as people look at Jesus being, you know, the star player at City, because he's more attacking, and he'd bring in, but Zinchenko is such a leader.
Yeah.
I mean, last night he had his interview after the game. I don't know who with, but the quotes came out. But when he did that interview last night, he talked about going into the Arsenal dressing room when he first came in and talking about winning the title, and people were laughing at him. And he's come in and said, no one's laughing now. And I'm like, even though he's not the captain, he's such a... Even though Jesus has won it, he feels like someone who, needs it.
A team that wins Premier Leagues has multiple leaders throughout. You look at Manchester United, they had Roy Keane, they had Gary Neville, they had people like Edwin van der Sar in goal, they had people that would lead that team who have experience in winning things, and Zinchenko has that. He just has that passion. And come back to that leader thing again. At the start of the game when they're having that team huddle, it wasn't Odegaard leading the team talk, it was Zinchenko. He was telling everyone, what's what and what's going to happen. He does just bring that experience. And even at times when he has a little bit of a slip up every now and then when he's playing, he just gets back into it, and he's so reliable in that defence. And for a while it looked like Kieran Tierney was our standout left back, and Kieran Tierney is a fantastic player, but we're on to bigger and it's hard to say, but bigger and better things now. We need Zinchenko in that spot, and he provides so much more. I looked at a touch map earlier on Twitter, and Zinchenko is literally all over the place. He's all over the place, and he's our left back, and obviously follows that Pep Guardiola system of dropping into centre mid. When we're pushing up the pitch and whatever, and he is fantastic. But the thing I love the most about him is the passion. When it got announced that Eddie Nketiah goal stood last night, have you seen his reaction?
Oh my! He looks crazy,
screaming.
I mean, I feel sorry for Trossard. It's his introduction to Arsenal, and Zinchenko screaming his head off in front of him. But it's so lovely, and he's not even been here a year. He was at City for 5 years, for God's sake. But the way he talks about Arsenal Football Club and the way he talks about the fact that he always wanted to come here, it's so nice to know that you've got players at your club who really want to be there, who want to go all the way with you. And that is part of the reason we're doing so well, is there's players here who will fight till the last whistle for the badge. And Zinchenko's so amazing. I love him so much. He's just amazing. The control he has, and I think he's maybe one of the best dribblers of the ball we've got in the Arsenal team. Whenever I see him go onto his right foot and start to accelerate, I think no one's going to get the ball off him. He's going to dribble past 3 or 2 players and then find Xhaka in a ton of space. And genuinely, as much as I love Kieran Tierney, he carried us through some dark times. But Zinchenko is just a step above. I'd argue Zinchenko is world class. I don't know why that's not a consideration. I think he is. He's a proven winner, and it's just...
We're very lucky to have him.
We're so lucky.
I think it's time that we slightly moved away from last night's game. I think we've covered nearly everything.
Yeah.
But don't worry, there's going to be tangents as well. Our next discussion for this episode, we're going to be talking about who was the better signing for Arsenal. Was it who would have been the better signing for Arsenal? And what our views on the Mudryk versus Trossard situation really are. Now, obviously, Mudryk signed for Chelsea. It was last week, wasn't it? He made his debut on the weekend against Liverpool, where he did play a very good game, to be fair to him. He looks like a quality signing. Chelsea snapped up Mudryk from under Arsenal's noses. Yeah. Even though, as I revealed in a TikTok on our TikTok page recently, that Arsenal had been told that they were out of the deal before Chelsea then came in and snapped him up. So it wasn't like Chelsea came in and went, right, we're nicking him before they can close it. It was a different situation. Now, Isaac, we've gone and then signed Trossard for 30 million instead of spending 100 million on Mudryk.
I'd say 30 million is very exaggerated. It's 21 million with 6 million add-ons,
exactly.
I think.
So, to be fair, it goes to 27 probably if the add-ons go.
The add-ons are probably if we win the league. And if we do win the league, I'm happily paying an extra 6 million for Trossard because he's done us a favour then. But
100%. But in hindsight, what are your views on it? Because I think if you ask me who would you have rather signed, I think it's an obvious one. I'd rather have signed Mudryk. But what would you go for?
As much as I wanted Mudryk, I never wanted him for 100 million. We were always quoted at the 100 million, and in my head I always thought it won't get to that. They'll buckle, and slowly but surely they weren't, and we kept pushing the price up. And the closer we got to that valuation, the more I was kind of going, if we spend this, what can we do in the summer? And I think that's what Arsenal was starting to think. If they really went for Mudryk, ever since the Mudryk deal's closed, suddenly there's rumours of Declan Rice, and I'm now starting to think whether or not, if we signed Mudryk, would that deal even be a possibility in the summer? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
But then if we sign Mudryk, because in my opinion, and we're going to get into the stats of both players, but in my opinion, here's how I look at it. if we sign Mudryk, we win the Premier League. No questions asked. If we sign Trossard, he's going to help us, but I don't think it gets the nail in the
I don't
coffin.
think Mudryk's a proven player. I mean, he's not played that many
I know he
games
isn't.
in his overall career. He's not scored that many goals in the Ukrainian league. He's not got that much experience. And switching to the Premier League is an underestimated change. And, he's still a young player. And if we're signing someone, if we're making a signing right now, that signing, all we need is someone who can give us an option, something different, and help us get over the line. And would you go for someone who is... It's brilliant how we missed out on Mudryk and instantly went, no, we're not going to go for Diaby and spend 9 million. We're going to go for someone who is fit right now, can step into the team on the weekend, and is worth 20 to 30 million. And we got Trossard done in record time. And you look at the weekend, Mudryk played quite well. He's very fast. Then again, he was running at James Milner. I think I could give him a good go. To be fair, I can't. I'm slow as hell. But
I just think watching Mudryk,
he's talented. He's fast. He's a good dribbler. We yet to see output from him. However, he is in a Chelsea team which is really struggling at the moment, and I think. I'm not going to have a criticism of him because it was not his decision to go to Chelsea. It was very much Shakhtar kind of leaning him towards that, I believe, because of the more money benefiting them. And also, they've now got, I think, a 20 million package going to the Ukrainian army as well.
Yeah,
which has been
and
announced.
A potential friendly in Shakhtar if the stadium is no longer occupied by Russia.
Bit dodgy, but
in terms of Mudryk, I just think he looks electric.
He looks good.
And I just think he's one of those players that will just come into the Premier League and just turn it on like that and just be incredible and won't need much top flight experience.
But the thing is, do you think signing Mudryk, he starts in our team like that? Do you think that? I don't think so. I think Martinelli's been on fire this season. I think so's Saka. I think Martinelli Martinelli, just like Mudryk, is a young player and is only going to get better. And I'm fine with signing someone like Trossard, who actually has the same amount of output as Martinelli this season and is a different style of player and has Premier League experience. And do you know what? For the price that we got him for, there's not many players you can get in the market for under 30 million for the quality that you're getting. And I'm very happy with it because it's going to enable us to get more business over the line. Within a week, we've got him over the line. And also, it looks like today or tomorrow, at the time of recording, Jakub Kiwior is going to get announced. I got the pronunciation spot on. The Polishman coming from Spezia. That's a new centre-back signing. That's going to be good for depth, because Gabriel plays every Europa League game, so it'd be good to see him, get some rest every now and then. And also, it looks like we're trying to sign Ivan Fresneda from Real Valladolid, and that would be a great signing. And I just wonder if we spent the 100 million on Mudryk, I feel like that would have been it for January. Yeah,
it most likely would have. I just think that Mudryk, maybe you have a point there, to be fair. If he comes in and just replaces Martinelli just like that, does that upset the harmony of the squad?
No, I don't think he would have. I don't think he would have been, you're the starting man, but it would have been competitive. It would have been, right, you're neck and neck. To be fair, Trossard, I'll be honest, from what I saw yesterday, Trossard had a much better game than Martinelli. But
he did by far. And let's get into Trossard, to be fair, what kind of player he is. He's 28 years old. He spent three and a half years at Brighton. He has 7 goals and 3 assists in 16 Premier League games this season. He also joins Arsenal with our assistant coach, Albert Stevenberg. Is that how you pronounce it?
Stevenberg, I think.
With Albert Stevenberg as Mikel Arteta's assistant, who was Trossard's manager for a year in 2017. A lot of people have said things about Trossard from Genk, where he started out. One of their coaches, who's been a long-standing coach at the club, came out and said that they've produced a lot of players. Kevin De Bruyne, Thibaut Courtois. I think Divock Origi as well was from there. But he said out of all of them, Trossard, from a young player, showed the most potential. And you can kind of see that across his stats. He scored 38 goals in 120 games for Genk. In the 2018-19 season, guess how many goals he registered or contributed to for Genk?
20?
33. In 47 games, he scored 22 goals and got 11 assists before getting snapped up by Brighton for 15 million. No one even noticed Trossard. How did Brighton get away with that? Just snapping up 15 million.
It is a mock. Brighton are just killing the transfer market.
Absolutely. And when we look at how Trossard fits into this team, how do you think he does? Because I think he offers a very versatile option, right? I think multiple positions. I'm thinking he can go up top if Nketiah, if the worst thing happens and Nketiah and Jesus get injured.
Yeah.
I think Trossard can go up top, or Nketiah needs rest. I also think, and looking at the minutes that he's played in different positions for his time at Brighton, and we're getting quite technical here, but bear with me. But out of all the minutes he's played in different positions, the second most played position that he's done for Brighton was in the number 10 role.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, right, if we rely on Odegaard heavily. But if the worst did happen, I think Trossard could slot in there and not be the worst option, considering his experience.
Number 10 in the Brighton system is very different to Odegaard's role because he does pretty much play in a 3.
Yes.
But I'd agree with you on the whole versatility point because that's so useful. I mean, I remember at the start of Martinelli's time at Arsenal, we tinkered with him as a striker. And every now and then I do think, why don't we do it? But he very much now has developed into a wide player.
Yeah.
And just like Saka, Saka can play either side. Martinelli is very much only successful on the left. But to have Trossard, someone who's free to go anywhere across the front line, is so helpful. And even if Nketiah stays fit, and say Jesus stays out longer, it's useful having him because we've got City on Friday in the FA Cup. And let's just use that as an example. Let's say we rotate. We don't need to play Nketiah. We could just play Trossard up front. And people had to go at our bench against Newcastle, not having that thing to come off the bench and get us the winner. And now we have that. And I'd argue Trossard was crucial for that win because he gave us that little bit of energy.
He did
and he was involved in that goal. I mean, if he's a yard closer to the ball, he actually gets the winner, I think, which I was dreaming of. But I really like the look of him. He had moments where he was, the touch and the control. He had about 5 players around him on the edge of the box and he managed to keep it to himself.
He was great.
I'm really liking the look of him. He already looks like a good signing for the money we spent for him. And yeah, just at the age of 28, people have criticised the age because obviously Arsenal usually go for young signings. But we signed Sadi Cazorla at 28. We signed Andre Arshavin at age 28. And he's on, I think, a 3-year contract with an optional add-on. And I'm fine with that. If he wins us, if he helps us to a league title, then I don't care. It's a great signing. It very much is reminiscent of Shaqiri to Liverpool, signing someone from a Premier League team, which is going to help you. I'd argue in terms of the type of player he is, he reminds me a lot of Jota in the way that he's a winger, but he's very much two-footed, for his height, impressive in the air.
That's another thing that the Ghent coach was talking about with Trossard as well, that they train that one of their youth policies is to make sure that players are two-footed. And he scored that hat-trick at Anfield this season against Liverpool with all of the goals coming from a supposedly weaker foot in his left foot. But, I think more than a third of all his Brighton goals have come from that left foot. I don't think he has a weak foot. He's a 5-star weak foot player.
It's insane. I really like him. Overall, obviously Mudryk, Trossard, I think Trossard, they're very different signings because one's young and expensive and one's older and good value. So it's just like, I think they're both good signings for both clubs. I don't think Mudryk is as good a signing for Chelsea as he would have been for Arsenal. But, that's just the case. I do think he's a good player and I do think he's going to do well at Chelsea. But it's just a question of, have Chelsea spent 100 million and what's that 100 million going to do for them this season?
Hey, you!
Yeah?
Yes, you!
How did you get in my house?
Do you like YouTube?
Yeah?
Sometimes find it a bit dull?
No, I love YouTube.
Then you should subscribe to the Football in Question YouTube channel.
Why?
They've got podcast clips, original content, and also they have your family hostage.
What?
Like I said, subscribe now!
If you want to see your family again, subscribe now.
Mum?
Isaac, would you tell me that, potentially out of all the seasons that you followed Arsenal, because we're doing so well at the moment, and don't be shy to admit it, but in this season in particular, you've followed them to your absolute best degree and have tried almost insanely hard to keep up with everything that's going on.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. So Arsenal's season currently is your expert area.
I mean, potentially, I'd argue Arsenal as a whole, I'm an expert of the lot. Since the year 2004, I seem to be a pretty good
I would agree. I think we've both been supporting Arsenal for the same amount of time, but I absolutely would never disagree with the fact that you do know more about me than Arsenal Football Club.
Oh yeah, I do know more. About
This
Arsenal.
is the Arsenal mastermind. Isaac did a Manchester United mastermind version with Jordan a couple of
I
weeks
gave
ago.
him a lot of dodgy questions. I'm not going to lie.
I
I gave him some stat ones. So yeah.
I've got a couple of stats, I've got a couple of things, but overall I don't think it's too tricky. I've got 8 questions to test Isaac's knowledge on Arsenal's Premier League season so far. Question 1. Arsenal are currently playing their best ever Premier League season, with 50 points after 19 games. How many clean sheets have Arsenal kept this season?
God.
It's been a very solid defence for Arsenal this season.
I'm going to go with 8.
So close. It's
It's
actually 9.
7. Is it
It's
9?
9. It's 9.
So because I remember the metric coming up, and it was like we all. I swear all of the goalkeepers at the top were level on 6, and I was like, since then we've played Newcastle, and we've played Tottenham.
Very
But
close.
clearly it was on 7 at the time, but 9. Okay. Well,
Very
I
close.
was around the same time. I know he's not top. I know Pope's top because he keeps drawing 0-0.
Very close from Isaac in that first question. But question 2, Eddie Nketiah's 2 goals last night saw him become Arsenal's top goal scorer in all competitions this season. But who's contributed to the most Arsenal goals this season in terms of goals and assists
Goals and assists
together?
I mean, Odegaard's obviously our second highest top goal scorer.
Right.
So you think that, but I don't think he's got that many assists. I think our highest goals and assist contributor is actually Bukayo Saka.
It's correct. And
Yeah.
Martin Odegaard was our second top goal scorer, but he's now joint with Saka.
It's
They've
not-
both got 8.
Oh yeah, of
But
course.
Saka's also got 7 assists, so he's on 15. And yes, Saka, that is correct, is the highest.
That is great.
Question 3. 7 Arsenal players have played every Premier League game this season. How many of those 7 can you name? It's another one of these ones. You love
I
these
think
kind
I
of
can name
questions.
all of them.
Go on then.
Aaron Ramsdale,
Yep, correct.
Gabriel,
Yep,
William Saliba.
yep,
Xhaka started every week. Oh yeah, it's Granit Xhaka.
yep.
Um,
3 more.
Bukayo Saka,
Yep, it's correct. 2 more to go.
Gabriel Martinelli.
Yep, 1 more.
It's either Martin Odegaard or Ben. No, Odegaard hasn't started. It's Ben White.
Yep, it's correct. He names.
I remembered Martin Odegaard has missed 1 game, and it was Brentford. It was Brentford away, and that's when Vieira had a good game. But yeah,
all 7 of the players that have started every single game for Arsenal
Yeah,
this season.
it's class.
Well done. Question 4. Bukayo Saka has scored 7 goals in the Premier League this season. Aside from Manchester United, name 3 other clubs he scored against.
West Ham,
Yep,
Brighton,
yep.
and
1 more
Liverpool.
is correct. You could have had a Leeds as well, but
Could
yeah,
have had
I knew
Leeds.
you were going to go with West Ham
Because I was bloody there. It'd be weird
Yeah.
if I forgot that.
Exactly, but anyway, that's 3 from 4 so far. Not too bad at all.
Not too shabby, Alonso.
Question 5. Who's got the... sorry, let me do that again. Question 5. Who's got the highest goal conversion rate in the entire Arsenal team this season?
So shot conversion rate.
Goal
you mean?
conversion rate.
What do
Yeah.
you mean goal conversion?
Yeah, shot conversion.
Yeah. Oh, so who has scored the most from these shots? I mean, Odegaard's top goal scorer. He doesn't shoot that much. It's not James.
Odegaard isn't top goal scorer anymore.
Oh, joint.
Nketiah is.
Oh, competitions.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Nketiah does take a few shots. I don't think Odegaard shoots.
It is all
them.
competitions. That's a good point to outline there.
Is it Eddie Nketiah?
No.
It's not Eddie.
It's not Eddie Nketiah, I'll tell you it is though. Mohamed El Neni!
Oh God!
100% goal conversion rate.
Is that,
for Mohamed
that's
El
not
Neni.
his only shot of the season.
Absolutely superb. Yeah, I think
That's
it is.
not his only shot of the
I'm
season.
pretty sure it is. Or it's his only shot on target anyway.
Oh, that's
it's
taking the
goal-
piss if
goal.
that's the
But I
stat.
don't think
Because
it
if
is.
that's the stat, Party must be on 80% because it either goes in or it goes wide. But
Yeah, no, I think it is.
shots on target
Just-
converted.
No, I think it's out of just shots. I would say it is that. But
Oh, poor bloke.
Anyway.
I need more El Neni long ranges in my life.
no, he wasn't in the squad last night, but he was there. He was with the celebrating
Wait, he was
players
on the
after.
bench?
Was he?
Was he on the? He was
I
on the
saw him
bench.
in his coat after.
Oh God, okay, fair.
Maybe I'm wrong. Question 6. Name Arsenal's next 5 Premier League fixtures.
Next 5 Premier League
Yep.
fixtures.
Not FA Cup.
Is it better if I actually specify whether they're home or away as well?
If you can.
Everton away,
Yeah.
Brentford at home,
Yeah.
City at home. I'm now going to struggle. That's our game after them. I'm feeling it's one of 2. It's either Villa or Bournemouth. I'm going to go Bournemouth at home.
No.
Is it Villa?
It's Villa.
Villa away.
The next one, can you get the next one?
Is it? I would say it isn't Bournemouth. I've bottled it. It's Just wait. I need to know because I'm looking at the tickets, so I should know this.
Yeah,
Is
you
it
should.
Bournemouth at home?
No, it's not. It's Leicester.
Oh, I'd say that.
Leicester.
The thing,
Leicester
and this
City.
is why I'm so happy about where we are because you know if we get past that City game and maybe win that, we can chill out for about a
looking good.
month.
It's looking
and
good.
we can chill out.
It's 3 from 6 so far. We've got 2 more questions left. Remember, there's 8 questions in this quiz. Question 7. Arsenal conceded their first goal of this Premier League season. To which player? It's a tough question.
William Saliba.
Yeah, it's correct. Well done. I didn't think you'd get that at all. I was trying to catch you out.
I was thinking in that first game, and my mind went all the way back to Leicester. I was on the couch watching Soccer Saturday, and I was like, we gave away a pen, it got disallowed.
Yeah.
I was
Arsenal
like-
won 4-2 in the end against
I nearly
Leicester.
said James Maddison, because he did score
Yeah.
in that game, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I was looking up the stat and I thought, perfect.
That's a brilliant statistic.
Perfect. Question 8. Final one from this episode. What is the average age of Arsenal players used in the Premier League so far this season? And I'll give you the point if you are 0.5 off.
It's 24 point something, I know that,
Right.
because I know Arsenal fans have been really annoyed about Trossard, because it's put it up,
Oh, right,
and we
okay.
might be lower, but if we sell Cedric, it's back to like square one. It's 24, it was 24.1, I think it's gone up, so I'm just going to say 24.5.
You're in the 0.5, it's 24.1 still.
Is it still? Oh no, that must be what it's moved to.
Potentially. Maybe the stat hasn't updated in time for Trossard. But we're
Probably.
We're going to ignore that. Well done, Isaac. I will give you, obviously...
So,
I will give you the point
basically I
for that.
gave the answer, and then...
You kind of corrected the quiz, actually, yeah.
yeah, but to be fair, if we sell Cedric, it kind of keeps it exactly the same at 2.1.
That has been The Football in Question, Season 4, Episode 15. We've got many more weeks left of this season and we're coming thick and fast, so make sure you stick around. Isaac got 5 out of 8 corrections correct in the Arsenal Mastermind. That has been our Arsenal episode. We won't promise that we won't talk about Arsenal again this season because it is a big season for us, but
Yeah.
I hope you've enjoyed and I hope it hasn't been too biased and we've actually given across a good opinion. We'll see you next week.